What is up, everyone? Welcome to the FAA podcast. Impromptu kind of thing because I'm in Philly, taking the bar tomorrow and Wednesday. Just fantastic times. Just loving life, and the law is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, we went to school for 3 years for it. That make us some
Uh-huh.
chumps.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Um. So yeah. Anyways, Jimmy, we got football this week, dude.
Yes, so we do. My wife cannot believe it. She's like, "Does it ever
Hall of
end?"
Fame.
I
Hall
say,
of Fame game on Thursday night, Lions Chargers. Talk a little bit about that at the end, not a ton. Or we can talk about it now if you want, whatever.
Who cares?
Um, there is breaking news. I haven't opened the tweet about it yet, but I did see big time news in Dallas. Cowboys, uh, left tackle Tyler Guyton done for the year, torn ACL. So massive loss. And like I said, that's it wasn't Guyton because that was the good side. The left side was the very good side. Tyler Guyton and I'm blanking on who the guard is over there. Tyler Smith. Yeah,
Mhm.
because it's Tyler and Tyler, and then it's uh, Hoffman at center or BB at center, and then the rookie Booker at right guard, and then Steele at right tackle. But I had concerns about the Cowboys' right tackle with Terrence Steele. That was the one weak spot I thought, and I thought they should have at least drafted one, and they didn't. They drafted Booker in the first round. I don't believe they drafted another offensive lineman. Um, so now it's big time. Like, what are they going to? One interesting thing. I don't know who's out available tackle wise. One interesting thing though that I would say, Tyron Smith just retired. I mean, I think it would have to. I think Jerry would have to make the call. Like he already knows the offense. He loves Dallas. He was in Dallas for most of his career. I know he can't stay healthy, but I mean, again, what are the other options? That's my thing. Nothing on Tyler Guyton, Jimmy.
Nah, just an unfortunate injury. Um,
Uh,
sucks.
yeah. So they have a couple draft picks. I was wrong. They did draft one tackle. They have three different draft picks from the last couple. They have Matt Willetsko from fifth round in 22. They have Asim Richards from the fifth round in 23. And then this year they drafted a Johnny Clay's out of Oregon, sixth round. They also signed Hakeem Adeniji from the Browns in free agency. So those are the guys they got now at tackle, and we'll see if they make a move or not, or if they go with who they got. What I would think, and it's even worse with another injury note. I'll just add on to right now. A couple other things with the Cowboys. Right tackle Terrence Steele has a high ankle sprain, so he's out for a little bit. And um, what just occurred this week as well, guard Robert Jones broke a bone in his neck. He's out 2 to 3 months. So they're losing linemen left and right. Because my thing was looking at their depth chart right now. You got to. I think your best option is probably to move Tyler Smith back to left tackle. I don't know who they're going to put at right tackle if Steele can't go by the regular season, which I think he will be able to go. Then, like, you guard problem. So I would say they signed Sadiq Charles in free agency, so I was okay with him, probably. Or you put Hoffman back into center, you move BB back out the guard, and you just kind of shift everyone left and move Hoffman in center. But it's when it rains, it pours, and their offensive line's getting derailed right now in Dallas. The one thing they were counting on. So Javonte Williams, I was like, dude, what the hell? Him and Miles Sanders, like, we signed thinking that we had a line to run behind.
Nope. The Great Wall of Dallas is not holding up right now.
It's crumbling down. Let's see. Is there any other breaking news? I'll talk about that in a second.
Watkins news.
Huh?
No, Watkins. The Raiders getting released out of nowhere. Do we have that in the script?
I did not. Oh, Wilkins? Talking about Wilkins?
Oh, Wilkins. Sorry.
Yeah, I talked about that last show. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Talked about that last show.
Wild.
But yeah, the kiss on the top of the head was something funny, for sure. I didn't understand what happened, but okay. I was like,
I both don't understand why he did it and why people like on his team are freaked out by it.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like he was joking around. Like, why does it matter?
Like, I get being like, hey, I don't want you to do this, but like, it's another thing to be like, hey, like you're kicked off the team when we owe you millions of dollars. Like, that's insane.
What I want to see is the LGBTQ community go after him. Like, are you that homophobic that you can't get?
Well, you can't kiss your bro. Can't kiss your bro on the forehead. I'm just homophobic NFL.
All right. So UFL news here. Bunch of guys getting signed as camp has begun here. The Browns, they signed Panthers running back Toa Tawa, led the UFL in rushing touchdowns this year. Really solid back punisher in between the tackles. Not a ton of speed, but can be a good short yardage back, and really just provides the Browns another option in the backfield where they're usually pretty filled up there. The Cardinals continuing to fill out their secondary. They signed a couple UFL corners, Stephen Gilmore from the Stallions and another Michigan Panther corner, Kenai Lovely. Both very solid players. Gilmore had 8 pass defenses this year. And Lovely, I can't remember if he was all UFL or not, but both very solid players. I think at least one of them should make the roster. I'm not a big fan of that Cardinals corner room, so one should make it, I think. The Lions, they're trying to make another UFL superstar, just like they have in their kicker, Jake Bates, signing Battlehawks corner Nick Whiteside. It's another one, though, that he has a really good opportunity. Lions' secondary depth is not that great, so I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Whiteside gets on a team. He was very good this year for the Battlehawks. First Battlehawks signed this offseason. And another Stallion signed. The Bills signing Stallions wide receiver Deion Kane. Love that for Buffalo. Gives them a big body outside. And he's also fast, too. So I'm really hoping Deion Kane can stick. Again, it's a theme of all these teams other than the Browns signing. I think that all these guys have a really good shot because of the lack of quality depth at their position, that the team that they went to. The Patriots also signed a UFL player. It's Panthers linebacker R.J. Moten. So some depth there at linebacker. I don't think he will probably make New England's roster, though. All right. One piece of college football news. So we're doing the AAC, the American Athletic Conference preview today, and it's not going to be as good as all the other previews, I can tell you that. But we do have, when I was doing research for today, we do have some notes a note from the AAC. Tulane has got a commit from BYU, former BYU quarterback Jake Retzlaff. So he was in the rape allegation when he was at BYU. Case got dismissed June 30th. He asked for a transfer from BYU. They declined his transfer portal application. They wanted him to stay at BYU. He said, okay, dropped out of school at BYU, was looking for a place to go, and Tulane has landed him. So we'll talk about that more when we get to Tulane on the AAC. But big time quarterback get for, I think John Sumrall is still the head coach at Tulane. Yeah, John Sumrall. All right, NFL news. The Steelers inducting 3 more players into their Hall of Honor this year. Quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, center Marquise Pouncey, linebacker Joey Porter Sr., Big Ben and Marquise Pouncey, cornerstone. I mean, all 3 really cornerstone players, especially, our generation growing up. Those were the Steelers. Porter was the earlier kind of Steelers, the 2000s, but then, as we grew up into the late 2000s, 2010s, Big Ben and Marquise Pouncey attached at the hip, quarterback center exchange for a long time, and hate how it ended. I really did, but yeah, it was. Those are the guys, and I love Big Ben, and might actually go to that game. That's one of the 3 games I've been looking at. So it's difficult to get out there for a Monday night game with work and everything. But we'll see. We'll see. They are getting inducted December 15th against the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. The one pup note today, the Commanders placed wide receiver Terry McLaurin on pup with his apparent ankle injury. So he is no longer a holdout. He did show up. He is in the facility and has an ankle issue. Why he's not practicing, but he also wants a contract. So it's a hold in for Terry McLaurin, avoids $50,000 a day in fines. I would choose that option too. Pup activation. Some guys getting back on the field. 49ers wide receiver Ricky Pearsall. I love to hear that. Got him in fantasy in at least one of my dynasty leagues. So I'm very excited about Pearsall this year. And the Bills getting some weapons back. Tight end Dawson Knox, wide receiver Laviska Shenault, both activated off the pup list. An NFI activation, Packers getting back center Elgton Jenkins, making the move to center this year, as he has played in the past. And injuries, a lot of them. It's training camp. Texans running back Joe Mixon, he is on the NFI currently, but newsworthy because of he was said to be missing an extended period of time. He has a foot injury, not going well in the rehab right now. So Mixon's definitely going to be one to monitor, I think, coming up to week 1. One we don't have to monitor going to week 1. Titans former first-round wide receiver Treylon Burks suffered a fractured collarbone, and you hit it for him because he had a ridiculous catch apparently when he broke handed catch diving for it, and he broke the collarbone on it. They have since released him today, waived injury release there, and it now completes the trade, the A.J. Brown trade, because of Burks no longer being with the Titans. But, so how did that trade work out? The Eagles, what did they get? Wide receiver A.J. Brown. He subsequently signed a 4-year, $100 million extension. The Titans, they got 2022 number 18 overall first-round pick. That was Treylon Burks. They also got 2022 third-round pick, which the Titans traded to the Jets with number 26 overall in 2022. And that ended up being corner Roger McCreary, offensive tackle Nicholas Petit Frere, and wide receiver Kyle Phillips. Be the judge, Jimmy. I'm not impartial. I'm an Eagles fan.
I mean, Eagles run fair and square, and there's nothing really to say. I mean, this is really when I think of the end of the the good Titans. Like this is case in point. Like when I think of when the Titans went from, at the very least, competing for their division and can steal playoff games to bottom of the barrel now, I think of this trade as like the first, the first shot across the bow for that era. I mean, it fell apart once this trade went down.
Yeah, because Rabes was still coaching then, and I think they still had Tannehill, or maybe that was. Yeah, I think Tannehill was still there in 22. Derrick Henry was still there, but yeah, they didn't want to pay AJ Brown, so the Eagles said, "I got you." Still remember that draft night. I was like, "Yes, sir, let's go, AJ Brown." All right. Other injuries, Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford dealing with a back soreness. He is week to week, so that is major injury there potentially for the Rams leading up to week 1. Bad news for Seahawks running back Kenny McIntosh. He has a torn ACL. He is done for the year. Chiefs rookie defensive tackle Omar Norman-Lott, drafted in the second round this year, has a left leg injury. Cardinals corner Charles is done near torn ACL. It's the 2 corner signs from the UFL. In Cleveland, Browns quarterback Kenny Pickett has a hamstring injury. So Joe Flacco taking all the reps pretty much at first right now, and more reps though with the second string for Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. I'm not tuned into Browns practice notes too much, but yeah, it's definitely it's easy elimination right now for Kenny Pickett, so that'd be the odd man out. Can't play if you're not on the field, right? Broncos linebacker Drew Sanders. He has a tendon injury in his foot. He an extended period of time, like missing the start of the year. Mentioned Robert Jones for the Cowboys, and Patriots for rookie edge David Walker, torn ACL. He's done for the year. Rookie season even started. Pretty solid player out of Central Arkansas. Yeah, hate it for him. One release today, besides Traylon Burks. Steelers releasing running back Cordero Patterson. It was an interesting way to announce a release. He announced it himself, and it was like they released him on his day off or something like that. I was like, okay, whatever, dude. Like, you're old. He wasn't slowing down too much, I don't think, but the Steelers really don't have any use for him, and I don't think he's worth – I don't remember what they weren't paying him a ton, but they definitely want to get some of the younger guys in there. And they already have 3 running backs anyways, with Jalen Warren, Caleb Johnson, and Kenny Gainwell. All right. Money. Lots of money going around. They didn't give me any, though, Jimmy. They give you some?
Not this time.
The Bucks today reworking Baker Mayfield's quarterback contract, guaranteeing him $30 million next season. So some security for Mayfield. 2026 was not guaranteed up until this point. So he will be in Tampa for this year and next year, for sure. Now, that one's for Baker. Couple big time extensions this week. Chargers, they signed left tackle Rashawn Slater to a 4-year, $114 million extension. $92 million guaranteed there for Slater, makes him the highest paid tackle in the league, and I think, right, yeah, and very much worth it. He's an excellent draft pick for the LA Chargers and franchise cornerstone there for Slater. Yeah. An extension going down today in the division. Broncos paying wide receiver Cortland Sutton 4 years, $92 million. And I didn't hear, I didn't see anything about what the guarantees were, but I would assume it's somewhere in the 7, maybe. Not exactly sure, but yeah. I was kind of weirded out about that one because Cortland Sutton's been like, it's felt like I just want to get rid of him for the longest time, and he's still there. I don't know. I don't know if he's really a true number one. He doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, this is a lot of money to give a guy that I think on a better receiving core is a wide receiver.
But the Broncos were kind of backed into a corner, though. It's like they don't really have anyone else. They don't have anyone as good as him. Marvin Mims is.
They did have Jerry Jeudy.
Well, yeah, but he's not that great on the Browns right now. So
he had a great end of the season. That was a lot of fun.
Oh wow! Breaking news from ABC News: a police officer and a civilian shot today by a suspect that ran into a building in Midtown Manhattan, and the guy apparently ran into is the NFL headquarters building. So
I heard about that. I heard the shooter just shot himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think the situation is like ended just now. I saw a recent tweet of it, but yeah, I think.
Is he carrying a freaking AK-47 or something? I'm seeing a picture Adam Schefter just retweeted. That was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully everyone's all right, other than, unfortunately, the people that got injured. And well, it didn't say fatalities, so hopefully.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about that.
More extensions here. The Cowboys, they signed tight end Jake Ferguson to a 4-year, $52 million extension, $30 million guaranteed for Jake Ferguson. Another one that kind of popped up on me. I was like, I'd never heard anything about this one coming. And then it did, and I was like, okay. Another dumb contract for Jerry Jones. Love to see it. Like, Ferguson's good, right? But he's not top tight end. I think he's getting paid like the 7th highest paid tight end or something like that, which is okay. I'm okay with that, I guess. But Micah's like, where's my bag, bro? Yeah, dude. Micah Parsons, wild. But they're not paying him yet. Your Vikings, Jimmy, getting a deal done. They signed safety Josh Metellus to a 3-year, $36 million extension, 42 max value, 25 guaranteed there. Go ahead.
I mean, He's probably my favorite defender on the not Blackhawks, sorry, Vikings right now. I mean, he's I'm thinking my other podcast. My bad, guys. I mean, he's a jack of all trades. I mean, I think we've seen him play almost every position on the defense, which, given how Brian Flores runs his defense, it's like the perfect match. I would argue this feels like an underpay for what he brings to the Vikings. I think this guy plays Pro Bowl, All Pro level play every time he's on the field, and the reason he doesn't usually get those accolades, well, hasn't yet, it's just because he plays everywhere. I think he doesn't really have a set position. He's a safety on paper, but we've seen him line up inside, outside linebacker. We've seen him in the nickel and corner, and we've seen him line outside. We've even seen him, line up on the edge. So this is a great deal for the Vikings. This is a guy that is one of the Vikings' late draft pick successes, and he's really earned this money. I'm really excited to see what he can bring, especially after losing Cam Bynum. You don't want to lose your other young safety, especially with how old Harrison Smith is becoming, with rumors that this may be his last season, Harrison Smith. So yeah, this feels like a great contract. I mean, on average, $12 million a year. It can move up to $42 million, as you mentioned, which that's what, $14 million? Yeah, $14 million a year, $25 million guaranteed. I mean, this is a slam dunk in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Solid up and coming player. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers getting some corner depth. Eli Apple still has a job, man. He keeps finding a way to get in the league. But yeah, the 49ers signed Chargers corner Eli Apple to a 1-year deal there. Alrighty. I'm not in any other news. I don't think so. Let's go on to the NFC South. Forgot to wear my Panthers jersey today. But the starters here, we're starting off with the Saints. Finished last in the division last year by virtue of a tiebreak. I think it was common opponents tiebreaker, or I can't remember if it was head-to-head or common opponents for the Saints against the Panthers, because they both finished 5-12. But starting offense, quarterback, rookie center Tyler Shuff. Running back is Alvin Kamara. Wide receiver Chris Olave, Brandon Cooks, Rashid Shaheed. Tight ends Jawan Johnson. Left tackle, first rounder Kelvin Banks. Left guard, former first rounder Trevor Penning. Center Eric McCoy. Right guard Cesar Ruiz. Right tackle 24 first rounder Talise Fuaga. So it's kind of wild. 4 first round picks on that line and a second rounder in Ruiz. Defensively, defensive end Cameron Jordan. Nose tackles Devon Gottschall. D tackle Brian Bresee. Outside linebackers Chase Young and Carl Granderson. Inside linebackers Pete Warner and Demario Davis. Corners are Isaac Yiadom and Kool-Aid McKinstry. Your nickel is Alante Taylor. Strong safety is Justin Reed. And free safety is Julian Blackman. I think the Saints are going to big time need these young guys to step up, right? This draft class is paramount for the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, Tyler Shuff. Oh, and I forgot special teams punter Matthew Hayball. Your kicker is Blake Groupie. Long snapper is Zach Wood. Your punt and kick returner is wide receiver Rashid Shaheed. But anyways, obviously the offensive ones, Shuff and Banks, they're going to start, right? I don't think they're going to ask a lot of Devin Neal, but he's probably going to end up being your third back. But I think that's going to be an interesting competition there in New Orleans, to be honest. I really like that one. There's a lot of guys in that. Devin Neal, the 6th rounder this year. You got Cam Akers, Velus Jones, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and love my guy undrafted Marcus Yarns out of Delaware. Um, those 5 guys, that's gonna, if they keep 3 or 4, I would love it if they keep 4 because I don't think 4 of those guys deserve to get cut. But I really for RB3 and or 4. But anyway, defensively, they got to get these guys to step up as rookies, right? Vernon Broughton, 3rd-rounder, interior D lineman. They need him up front. They got Danny Stutzman at linebacker. He's probably the successor to Mario Davis, a 4th-rounder. And then the secondary guys, Quincy Riley, they need him badly. This secondary is not good. Behind McKinstry, Taylor, and Yiadom, I mean, there ain't much. Quincy Riley's the guy. I mean, he's got to be the guy as a 4th-rounder. They have Jonas Sanker out of Virginia in the 3rd-rounder as well. I really like their safety room, but the corner room is pretty bare. Dallas Beanham is an undrafted guy I'd like everyone to watch. South Dakota State, excellent player there. And my guy, Jaden Price from the Arlington Renegades, also at the corner position. Hopefully he can make the roster. And to be honest, too, I think there's a punter competition. Matthew Hayball is the listed starter. James Burnip, though, undrafted out of Alabama, he could have something to say about that position this year. Any answer from you before we get scheduled, Jim?
Sorry, what was it? You're cutting in and out on my end.
Oh, okay. Anything on the Saints roster before we get to the schedule?
Well, it sucks. I think the Saints and the Titans are in the running for probably like worst rosters in the league right now, and honestly, I would probably lean Saints at this point. I don't think they're a good team. I'm sorry. Like, I know you're a big fan of Tyler's, their quarterback. I'm not. I really don't think he's going to be anything more. I think his peak is like Davis Mills. Like, I think that's the best he can really be. I don't really see anything beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty dang much the most pro ready of any of the top quarterbacks, really. The amount of experience he had at Texas Tech, Oregon, and Louisville, starting there at least a game for each one there. And I don't know. I think I really love Kellen Moore. Hate that he went to the Saints. The Panthers have to play him now, but really love Kellen Moore. So I'm excited to see what he can do. It's a tough situation with the weapons aren't the greatest. We don't even know if Olave is going to play with his concussion issue. Camaro's looking like he's slowing down, really. Obviously, Cooks is over 30. Shaheed is trying to become more than just a one-trick pony, but he's not quite there yet. So and Jawan Johnson, you're dead to me. I touted him. I don't remember if it was I think it was last year. I touted him as being a top 10 tight end this last year, and he sucked. Absolute trash. But anyways, to the schedule. Saints here. Week 1 home against the Cardinals. I got trying to see what so home against the Cardinals, home against the 49ers, at the Seahawks, at the Bills. Home against the Giants, home against the Patriots, at the Bears, home against the Bucks, at the Rams, at the Panthers, week 11 bye, week 12, home against the Falcons, at the Dolphins, at the Bucks, home against the Panthers, home against the Jets, at the Titans, at the Falcons. So let's see here. What I think, though, I do like the Saints front. The front seven, the offensive line should also be, good, as long as, Penning works out at guard. That's the big question mark, I think. I really liked Kelvin Banks coming out of Texas, so I think he's going to be okay. Rookie tackles tend to struggle anyways, no matter who they are. So he's probably going to have a little bit of an issue, but that should get righted, I think. But let's see. The Cardinals one is a tough one because I think the Saints potentially could win enough in that game. Oh, wow. Breaking news from Adam Schefter. It's great news if you're a Cowboys fan. Tyler Guyton did not tear his ACL.
Oh, that's good.
ACL is intact. No surgery, but he has a bone fracture in his knee. 4 to 6 weeks is the prognosis there. So he'll be back. I don't remember when the Cowboys had their bye, but he'll be back probably week 3, 4, maybe. So I would imagine he's probably going to start on PUP. He'll probably start the season on PUP, and then they'll just keep him out the first quarter of the season, and then start in week 5, just to be safe. But yeah, the Cardinals one is an interesting. That's a tough one for me, week 1. Just because it's a rookie quarterback, probably going to have him lose. I love the 49ers. I'm a 49ers person this year. I really like what San Fran is. So, loss at the Seahawks, loss at the Bills, loss. I think the Giants win that one just because of the Giants' defense. And again, they have the more experienced quarterback. And I just talked about the Saints secondary. So Malik Neighbors should have a good game, potentially. Home against the Patriots. I really like the Patriots this year. So at the Bears, loss. Jamie, where am I finding a win here? I do want to give them wins, though. I do. They're going to win at least 3 or 4, I think.
I have 3 wins, and they're all in consecutive weeks.
This is the last 3 weeks of the season.
I have 15, 16, and 17.
Okay.
That's where I have them winning.
I'll go the last 3 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Home against the Jets, at the Titans, at the Falcons. 3-14. That's 1-5 in division. And you got the same thing.
Same exact thing. Just switch the division opponent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. But I think it's good, though. Saints can get a top draft pick and get a guy for once.
Get Arch Manning Part 2. Another A Manning quarterback in the Saints.
I'm not in on that. He shouldn't come out this year. I'm telling you right now. He'll have less competition in 2027, I think. And it would behoove him to start more than 1 year because he wasn't good enough to beat out Quinn Ewers. So, and Quinn Ewers just got drafted in the friggin' 7th round. So, what does that tell you about Arch Manning?
Fair.
You know. All right, let's go to the Panthers. Keep pounding. Offense looks like this. Quarterback Bryce Young, running back Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle. Wide receivers Tetero McMillan, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen. Tight end is Tommy Tremble and Jatavian Sanders. Left tackle Ika Mekwanu. Left guard Damian Lewis. Center is Austin Corbett. Right guard is Robert Hunt. Right tackle Taylor Moton. Defensively, this they had the most improvement. Derek Brown and Tershawn Wharton. Nose tackle is Bobby Brown III. Outside linebackers Patrick Jones second and DJ Wonnum, as well as Princely Uman Mielen, the third rounder, and second rounder Nick Scorton. Inside linebackers Trevin Wallace, Christian Roseboom. Corners Mike Jackson, J.C. Horn. Your nickel is Show Smith Wade. Safeties, strong safety, Trayvon Merrick. Free safety, Damani Richardson. You also got fourth rounder Lathan Ransom in there as well. Special teams, punter is Sam Martin. Kicker is Matthew Wright, potentially. He's in a battle with undrafted Florida State kicker Ryan Fitzgerald, who I really like. I think Fitzgerald should win this job, to be honest. And J.J. Jansen back for his umpteenth year as the Panthers' long snapper. He's been around a while. Your punt returner is sixth-round rookie wide receiver Jimmy Horn Jr., and your kick returner is fourth-round rookie running back Trevor Etienne. So, yeah, my Panthers here, offensively, they should be good. If Bryce Young continues, that's what everyone's talking about with the Panthers. Can Bryce Young continue what he left off with the last so many games of the season? And it was just fantastic what Dave Canales and Young had going late in the season there. They really almost beat the Eagles. If Xavier Legette didn't drop the touchdown, they would have beat the Eagles. But I really like this. I'm hoping for some guys to step up. Legette, I want him to get a little bit better in year 2 here. Same thing goes for Jatavian Sanders. I need him to take on more. And I really want him to beat out Tommy Tremble. I know Tremble's on I think he's on the PUP list right now. He's coming back from injury. So really want him to step up, JT Sanders. And I like Dowdle. He's a pretty solid option as a number 2 to Hubbard. Love McMillan. He's a beast. Give Bryce Young a jump ball guy out there. And defensively, I wasn't impressed with their offseason additions. Wharton, I don't think, was worth the money. They should have just paid whatever Milton Williams wanted. They should have continued to outbid New England because Milton Williams would have made this defense so much better. Your guy Jones there on outside, I'm hoping. Back-to-back years, we're getting the Viking outside linebacker. Wonnum was okay last year. I think he had 7 sacks. The rookies are going to play a lot. Scorton and Uman Mielen, they're going to play a lot in that 4-man rotation outside. The thing is, it's just like the Saints, though. This secondary is not good. It's J.C. Horn and everyone else. I'm okay with Merrick. I did like that addition at safety. Smith Wade is a solid nickel going into year 2, but they don't have anyone, man. Like another Viking, Caleb Evans is one of the main backups at corner. It's a lot of undrafted guys, though. And guys I don't even know. I do know Jatavis Broughton out of Iowa State is okay. Love Mello Dotson out of Kansas. He's a good one. And then I don't really know anyone else. So yeah, it's not a good secondary at all. They gotta prove it on defense for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ready to go to the schedule?
Oh yeah.
All right, at the Jags, week 1. That's a win. I'm going to have them lose at the Cardinals. 1-1. I think they can beat the Falcons in their home opener. 2-1. At the Patriots, they lose 2-2. I don't think they're going to have the secondary to beat the Dolphins. So 2-3 there. Same thing goes for against the Cowboys. 2-4. They will win at the Jets. 3-4. They will lose at home against the Bills. 3-5. At the Packers, they lose 3-6. They win at home against the Saints. 4-6. They lose the rematch at the Falcons. 4-7. They lose the Christian McCaffrey revenge game in San Francisco. Monday Night Football, their only specialty game this year. So that is 4-8. Home against the Rams, they lose 4-9. Week 14 bye. That's rough. And then at the Saints, I think they're good enough to beat the Saints. So 5-9. They lose. They get swept by the Bucs at home in week 16. At the Bucs week 18. So that is 5-11, and then home against the Seahawks on a Saturday. 5-12. Same record as last year. I do think though that they'll probably be better than that, somewhere around 7-10 to 9-8. I do think they're going to be closer to the playoffs this year. I can't trust that secondary. And they play teams that have good receiving cores, right? The Dolphins, the Cowboys. The Bills don't have a great receiving core, but they have the MVP. The Cardinals, you got MHJ. The Jags even in week 1, but it's week 1, and so that's what I'm giving the Panthers the advantage there, because the Jags don't have a good secondary either, outside of Tyson Campbell, Travis Hunter dependent. The 49ers, Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk, DeJuan Jennings, etc., Demarcus Robinson. Seahawks, they got Cooper Kupp, JSN, and company. So, yeah, that's 5-12 for me, and it is. I had them getting swept by the Bucs, sweeping the Saints, splitting with the Falcons. So it's 3-3 in division.
Yeah, I have 6-11. I have them. I have them performing pretty decently. I'm going to just list off their wins. I think they're going to win at home against the Falcons, on the road against the Patriots, at home against the Dolphins. I think they win on the road against the Jets. That gives them 4. I think they take week 10. That's 5. And where did I put the 6th? I don't think I had them beating the Jags.
Cardinals or the Dolphins? Cowboys?
They're actually going to do well in that. I think they're going to win. They're going to win 5 in a row, but end up 6-11 because they're going to beat the Cowboys week 6 at home. I think they're going to come out strong just because people aren't really going to be able to read them. But once they really settle into facing good teams, Bills, Packers, 49ers, Rams, Bucs, Seahawks, I think they're going to really struggle. But I think they do 6-11, 2-4 in division. I see a lot of improvements in Bryce Young, but a lot of room to grow everywhere else. So yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah, I think it's a young team, and they're gonna go through some struggles. But I do see shades, though, right, of deja vu, of Cam Newton and that Panthers team that went to the Super Bowl in 2015. Because they struggled. They barely made the playoffs in I I think it was 2014. They won the division at 8-9-1, and then the next year they went to the Super Bowl. And I can see something like that happening with the Panthers. Like, this is the first of 2 seasons, and then I think this year they're going to struggle. Right? They struggled last year already, but this year they're going to struggle. Next year, I think they can make the playoffs, and then 2027 they're going to be competing for real. That's the trajectory I see Carolina on. All right. Go to the Falcons. Offensively, it's Michael Penix Jr. It's his team now. Running back is his name again? It's Bijan. Right?
Bijan.
It's not Bijan. It's Bijan. Don Robinson. Tyler Algier. Wide receivers Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Ray McLeod. Tight ends Kyle Pitts. Left tackle Jake Matthews. Left guard Matthew Bergeron. Center is Ryan Newsel. Right guard Chris Lindstrom. Right tackle Caleb McGarry. Big time job for McGarry now. He is the blindside protector. Defensive ends Morgan Fox, Zach Harrison. Nose tackle is David Onyemata. Outside linebackers, first rounder Jalen Walker, go Dogs. Leonard Floyd, go Dogs. You also have the other first rounder there as well, James Pierce Jr. Gators suck. Even though he was Tennessee. I don't know why I said Gators. Tennessee sucks still, too. So, linebackers Devon Diablo, Caden Ellis. Corners are Hughes and A.J. Terrell. Nickel is D. Alford. Strong safety is Jesse Bates III. Free safety is Jordan Fuller. You also have some young guys there as well. Xavier Watts, third rounder at free safety, backing up. Billy Bowman Jr., fourth rounder, backing up D. Alford at nickel. Special teams punter Bradley Pinion. Kicker is Youngwei Koo. Long snapper is Liam McCullough, and your punt and kick returner are wide receiver Jamal Agnew. This roster's weird, man. I don't really like it. It's just like, I don't know. It's a bunch of stuff. I don't really know how they fit. But just like the rest of the division, it seems like this secondary is not good. It's better than the Panthers and the Saints for sure. They at least have a little bit of depth, but it's still not the greatest for sure. And we'll see if their draft picks can finally solve their pass rush issue. But the wide receivers aren't good outside of Drake London. Darnell Mooney made a lot of plays for me last year in fantasy, but he's got a shoulder injury anyways right now. He's out a little bit. Kyle Pitts is dog shit as a former first rounder. So,
former top 5 pick.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's get to the schedule. Against the Bucks, at Vikings, Saturday Night Football. At the Panthers, home against the Commanders, early week 5. Home against the Bills, Monday Night Football. At the 49ers, Sunday Night Football. Home against the Dolphins, at the Patriots. At the Colts in Berlin. Home against the Panthers, at the Saints. At the Jets, home against the Seahawks. At the Bucks, Thursday Night Football. At the Cardinals, home against the Rams. Monday Night Football, home against the Saints. My biggest question for the Falcons, why in the hell are we having the Atlanta Falcons on 4 primetime games and a European game? What are we doing, NFL schedulers? I don't want this team on primetime that many times.
They really believe in Michael Penix.
because they're gonna lose all. They're gonna lose all four of the primetime games. Just saying that right now. They'll win in Berlin. I will. They will in Berlin. 1-4. They're gonna lose the Bucks though. I had them losing in Carolina. I think week 3, so they start off 0-4 because they're gonna lose to the Commanders as well at home. They're gonna start off 0-6 actually because they're gonna lose the Bills Monday Night Football at the 49ers Sunday Night Football. I really don't want to give them a win against the Dolphins. But sure. Again, I like the Patriots, and it's in New England. I'm gonna give Patriots a win. So that's it's a 1-7 start there. 2-7 though at the Colts. I had them splitting with the Panthers. So 3-7, they win at the Saints. 4-7. They win at the Jets. 5-7. Seahawks. That's a tough one. I'll give the Seahawks the win though. 5-8. I just don't see. I don't know if any team can beat the Bucks in this division. One of them will. Probably two of them will actually. That would be the one to do it if it was in Atlanta though, but it's not. So it's in Tampa Bay. It's a Thursday night game. I'm gonna have the Bucks win. So that is a 5-8. I think I'm at there, or 5-9. Yeah. At the Cardinals, I'll give them a win. 6-9. They lose against the Rams. 6-10, and I had them losing to the Saints week 18. So 6-11 for me. And it is a 2-4 in division.
Yeah, I've got 8-9. I see them taking week 1 against the Bucks, losing against the Vikings and Panthers. No, beating the Panthers. No, losing to the Panthers. But I haven't beating the Commanders. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a little iffy on the Commanders, but I'll give them that, especially at home. So 2-2 going into bye, coming out, losing the Bills and 49ers. I have them beating the Dolphins, so that's 3-4. Losing the Patriots, 3-5. Beating the Colts, 4-5. Let's see. I'm beating the Panthers, 5-5. Beating the Saints, 6-5. I have them losing the Jets, 6-6. Losing Seattle, 6-7. Losing the Bucks, 6-8. Why are they playing themselves week 18? That's supposed to be that's supposed to be the Saints, right?
Huh?
Week 18. You have them playing themselves week 18.
Oh yeah. No, on the script it's Saints, yeah.
Okay, so it should be Saints. Where was I? Oh, I had them losing the Bucks. It's at 6-8. Okay, so 6-8. I have them beating the Cardinals and Rams, putting them at 8-8, but losing. No, actually, beating the Cardinals, losing the Rams, beating the Saints, 8-9. This team's just kind of mid. I'm not a huge believer in Michael Penix. I like the pieces they have on defense. I just don't like the cohesive unit of the defense. I think that a lot of the players are young. They're trying to figure it out. I like Robinson on the offense. I like Drake London. I think they have a lot of weapons. I think their offensive line is very solid. I don't believe Penix is good enough yet to really make this team a contender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, obviously, I agree. What did you have in division there? 2-4, 3-3, 2-4.
I think so. I am beating. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
beating
beating
the Bucks.
You had them sweeping the Saints.
So 4-2. Yeah. Splitting with the Panthers.
Splitting the Panthers and the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 4-2. half their wins.
Essentially, yeah.
To the, what is it now? Four time, right? I think it's 4 time. They've won it in a row. Can't remember. But anyways, the reigning NFC South champs, Buccaneers, by far the best team in the division. Offensively, it's the man that just got security today. Quarterback Baker Mayfield, running back Bucky Irving, and Rashad White. Wide receivers Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, first Mika Egbuka. Tight end is Kate Otten. Left tackle is Tristan Wirfs. He's out for a while though, so it'll be Charlie Heck there to start the season. Ben Bredesen at left, Graham Barton at center, Cody Malk at right guard, Luke Gadecki at right. Defensive ends Logan Hall and Kalijah Key. Nose tackle is Vita Vea. Outside linebackers Hassan and Yaya D. Inside linebackers Levante David and Servassier. Corners Ryan McCollum and Jamel Dean was Christian Isian. Strong safeties Tyke Smith. Free safety Antoine Winfield Jr. Punter is Riley Dixon. Kicker is McLaughlin. Long snapper is Evan Deckers. And your punt returner is wide receiver Trey Palmer. Your kick returner is running back Sean Tucker. This team's good.
This team really should run away with the division.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the question marks though. When is Godwin going to get back on the field? When is Wirfs going to return during the season? That's a big deal. Luckily, they don't play too many teams that are really good pass rush wise. It's not true. 2, 3, and 4. They have good pass rush teams. So that might be an issue. And then obviously Hassan Reddick, like, can he get anywhere near his Philadelphia days 2 years ago? I think that's the biggest question mark on defense. Anthony Walker coming back from injury well. And then they got the rookie corners that I think are going to need to play well because this isn't the greatest depth at corner either. Ben Morrison, though, second rounder, Notre Dame. Jacob Harris, backup nickel, third rounder, Kansas State. Really like those two guys, but we'll have to see. Schedule-wise for the Bucs here, at the Falcons, week 1. I have them winning that one. At the Texans, they win Monday Night Football. Home against the Jets, they win. Home against the Eagles, they win. The Eagles can't win in Tampa. It's just a fact. They can't. I don't know the last time they've won in Tampa because every time it seems like they played them every year the last like 5 years. They can't win there, and they always get demolished too. Like it's bad. So, and I also have a bet, Jimmy, on the Bucs to start 4-0 at really good odds. So it's also motivation there. But I actually have them starting 5-0. I think they can beat the Seahawks in Seattle. I'm going to have them lose to the 49ers, week 6. They lose at the Lions, Monday Night Football. That's going to be a complete shootout, I think. But I think the Lions are still good enough, and it's in Detroit. They win at the Saints week 8. So that's 6-2 going into the bye. By week 9, they will win against the Patriots because that's in Tampa. 7-2. They lose in Buffalo. They lose at the Rams Sunday Night Football. So that's 7-4. They win at home against the Cardinals week 13. 8-4. They win at home against the Saints. 9-4. They win at home against the Falcons Thursday Night Football. I have them sweeping the Panthers at the 10-4. or 11, 12-4 at the Dolphins. I mean, I don't think they're going to go 13-4, but the schedule does set up like that, though. I think the possibility for it. I will drop them down. Well, I guess I can't because of what I did with the other records, right? I had the Bucks beating everyone. So, sure, why not? Bold prediction: the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 13-4, 6-0 in division. Disclaimer: that's not going to come true.
Little bold, I'll say.
Huh? Yeah.
Said little bold, I'll say. The problem with them, they have such a tough schedule to start, and they have a lot of guys that are basically coming back off injury. Like, I am going losing the Falcons, lose to the 49ers, lose to the Lions. So that's 5 is very early in the season. But I have them really picking up after the bye week and only losing to the Bills week 11. So, they're going to start the season, with 1, 2, 3-5, but they're going to turn around and end the season 11-6 and probably be one of those teams that everyone loves going into the playoffs, pick the. But 5-1 in division, week 1 in Atlanta. This division is so easy to walk through. I really don't see any other way to lose other than in week 1 where they might be caught off guard on the road, big division game. That's about it. 11-6 to me.
All right. So we got the same, I think. I'd have to check, but we both have the Bucks winning the division. We both have the Falcons in second, I believe, and the Panthers in third, the Saints in fourth. So, all right. Kind of surprised you haven't left yet, Jimmy, but AAC preview. I don't have any slides for these, so we'll just run through them real quick, though. You're defending AAC champs, their first year in the conference. They won it. 12-2 for Army Black Knights there. 8-0 in conference. They ran wild, but they lost some really good players. Captain America. They lost Captain America, Bryson Daly. He was up for the Heisman. He should have won the. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, he is gone. They lost running back Kanye Udo to Arizona State, wide receiver Casey Reynolds, defensive lineman Kyle Lewis is gone. Edge rusher Elo Medozi went to Georgia. Go Dogs. Defensive back Chance Keith, safety Max DiDomenico, safety Gavin Shields, and kicker Trey Granat. They are all gone. They do return a quarterback, though, that played sparingly. Dwayne Coleman is back. They have running back Noah Short, linebackers Andon Thomas and Caleb Fortner, who I think is really one of the best linebacker duos in the country, to be honest. Corner Jaden Mays and safety Casey Larkin and punter James Wagonseller. He sells wagons. That's what they do. No transfers to talk about because it's a military school. They can't get any transfers in anyways. You can transfer out for sure. Schedule sets up like this. Week 1, and the Army-Navy schedule is weird because they play 16 weeks essentially with 3 byes instead of the normal 2. So week 1, home against Tarleton State. That's on a Friday. They win that one at Kansas State. I'm going to have them lose that week 2. Week 3 bye already. Week 4, home against North Texas. I think they win that, get to 2-1. At East Carolina, that's on a Thursday night. They win that one, 3-1. At UAB, They've had some changes there, so I think they can win that one too. Get to 4-1. Home against Charlotte, they should dog walk them. 5-1. I'm gonna have them lose to Tulane. That's a big game. That's probably the biggest game. I mean, they're gonna say the Army Navy game is the biggest game, but conference wise, the Tulane game is the biggest game. 5-2. There. Second bye week 9 at Air Force. Air Force has taken a little bit of a downturn the last couple of years, so I'm gonna have a win in Colorado there to get to 6-2. Home against Temple. Temple's not good. 7-2. Week 12 bye, third one there. Home against Tulsa. They should win that one. 8-2. And at UTSA, that's on Black Friday. UTSA lost a ton in the transfer portal and didn't get a ton back. So I'm going to have them go 9-2, and I think just 7-1 in conference play, with the only loss to Tulane. That should mean that they are playing in the AAC championship week 15 instead of having a bye. Their fourth one there. Then they play the Army Navy game week 16. They are at Navy this year, in Annapolis. So I think Navy got them last year, if I recall. And I think it hurt Army that they had to play in the American Championship game the week before. They didn't have 2 weeks to prepare for Navy. So that being said, I think they're going to lose to Navy again, because they're going to win. They're going to be in the AAC title game again. I will put though. So that's 9-3, 7-1 in division, or 7-1 in conference. I will say though, this is very, very much in pencil. I'm not very confident in Dwayne Coleman, but I'm not confident in a lot of the conference games that they play. They really don't. There's not a ton of quality depth to this conference. It's pretty top heavy with Tulane, Navy, Army. And I don't really think they play anyone else on their schedule this year that I would consider near the top of the conference. So, yeah. Moving on to the team that they played last year. So Tulane underwent a massive exodus and a massive re-entry. So I don't have returning starters for them, but transfers that they lost. Quarterback Darian Mensah went to Duke. Defensive lineman Parker Peterson went to Wisconsin. Running back Mekhi Hughes to Oregon. Tight end Alex Bauman to Miami. Corner Rayshawn Pleasant to Auburn. Linebacker Jesus Machado went to Houston. Quarterback Kai Horton went to Washington. What did they get in, though? 3 different quarterbacks. So I have no clue who the starter is going to be, but they're all pretty decent. Caden Samanza from Ball State, Brendan Sullivan from Iowa, and TJ Finley from Western Kentucky. My money would be on Samanza. I don't know. I know he's coming from G5. I mean, so is Finley. But I think I like Samanza out of those 3. They also, in the portal, got edge rusher Maurice Westmoreland out of UTEP. Really love him. He's a very toolsy guy. I think he should be really good for the Green Wave. Running back Maurice Turner from Louisville. Wide receivers Anthony Brown-Stevens from Kentucky and Trey Shackelford from Washington State. So they got some really good players in the portal for sure. Their schedule it's definitely tougher than Army's for sure. Home against Northwestern. I haven't looked at Northwestern yet, but it's at Tulane. I'm going to give them a win. I'm going to give them a win against a Big Ten school. So they win that one. At South Alabama. at South Alabama. They win that one, I think. Gio Lopez is gone, so 2-0. They lose at home against Duke, 2-1. They lose at Ole Miss, 2-2. They're going to win at Tulsa, 3-2. Week 6 bye, their first one there. Week 7, home against East Carolina. That's on a Thursday night. They win that one to get to 4-2. Home against Army, I have them winning 5-2. Week 9 bye at UTSA on a Thursday, 6-2. At Memphis on a Friday, I think Memphis gets them 6-3. Home against FAU, they win 7-3. At Temple, they win 8-3. At home against Charlotte, 9-3. So, same record as Army. Last year they were 9-5, 7-1 in conference, and it's going to be very similar this year, I think, for the Tulane Green Wave there. Let's go to Navy, the midshipmen. 2024 was really good for them, 10-3, 6-2. Again, no transfers to speak of. Blake Horvath is returning, I think, if I can remember. I'm not sure, but anyways, Navy's schedule looks like this. Home against VMI, win. Home against UAB, that is a win, 2-0. At Tulsa's win, 3-0. Week 4 bye, 1 of 3. Home against Rice, 4-0. Home against Air Force, 5-0. At Temple, 6-0. Week 8 bye. Home against FAU, 7-0. At North Texas, I think the Mean Green get them for some reason, 7-1. At Notre Dame, they lose 7-2. Home against USF, they win 8-2. Week 13 bye. At Memphis, I'm going to have them lose 8-3 on Thanksgiving. So they will not be playing in the American Championship game, and I have them winning against Army, but that is not a conference game. So I had them 2 conference losses, so that is 6-2 in conference there. 8-3 though for me for the midshipmen. Another solid year for Navy. Memphis Tigers last year just missing the AAC title game, 11-2, 6-2 in conference play. Memphis, they lost linebacker Elijah Herring to Florida State. Transfer ins, they got quarterback Brendan Lewis out of Nevada, defensive lineman Ryan Buell out of Colorado, running back Frank Peasant from Mid-Tennessee. So I like those guys. Schedule for the Tigers here, home against Chattanooga. That is a win. They, I think, lose at Georgia State. Georgia State's a pretty good program now. So 1-1. At Troy, I think they win 2-1. They lose at home against Arkansas, 2-2. At FAU, they win 3-2. Home against Tulsa, they win 4-2. Week 7 bye. At UAB, 5-2. At home against USF, 6-2. At Rice on a Friday night, 6-3. The Owls are going to sneak one. I don't know how, but Rice gets them 6-3. Home against Tulane, I had them beating Tulane 7-3. At East Carolina, 8-3. Week 13 bye, and then they finish at home against Navy on Thanksgiving, which I had Memphis winning. So 9-3, and it is 7-1 in conference. So Memphis has a chance. And they would make it because they beat Tulane and Navy. East Carolina, 2024, the Pirates were 8-5, 5-3. The transfers out here. Wide receiver Chase Sowell went to Iowa State. Corner Andrew Wilson-Lamp to Toledo. Quarterback Jake Garcia went to Michigan. They did get quarterback Mike Wright in from Northwestern, former Vanderbilt quarterback as well. So I would think that he is the guy under center this year for the ECU Pirates. We'll have to see, though. Schedule at NC State on a Thursday. They lose that one. They win at home against Campbell, get to 1-1. At Coastal Carolina, they win 2-1. At home against BYU, they're going to win that one 3-1. At home against Army on a Thursday night, 3-2. Actually, no, I'll have them lose against BYU, even without Parker Retzlaff, or Jake Retzlaff, I should say. Something BYU's roster is too good. So 2-3 going into week 6 bye. At Tulane, Thursday night game. They play 3 straight Thursdays. It's wild, with a bye in between there. At Tulane on a Thursday, that is a loss, 2-4. At home against Tulsa Thursday, I think they could win that one. 3-4, week 9 bye. At Temple, they win 4-4. At home against Charlotte, they win 5-4. At home against Memphis, they lose 5-5. At UTSA, I know I said UTSA got gutted, but I'm going to have them lose. It's tough to win in the Alamo Dome, 5-6. And at FAU, I'm going to have them go 6-6. Bowl eligible for the ECU Pirates. And conference games, I had them losing UTSA, Memphis, Tulane, and Army. So it is a 4-4 conference record for the Pirates. A little bit of a step back there. USF, the South Florida Bulls here. They did not have any, or no, okay, so transfer out D lineman Bernard Gooden went to LSU, and they got edge rusher Josh Celisar from Texas A&M. So really solid get there on the D line, swapping those guys out for each other essentially. One an interior guy, one an edge guy. But USF here 7-6 last year, 4-4 in conference. What does their schedule look like? Home against Boise State on a Thursday, week 1. They lose. They lose at Florida. They lose at Miami. It's a very, very difficult non-conference schedule. 0-3. They win at home against South Carolina State. 1-3, week 5 bye. I'm going to have them win at home against Charlotte. It's on a Friday. 2-3. At North Texas on a Friday, they lose 2-4. They win at home against FAU. 3-4. At Memphis, they lose 3-5. Week 10 bye, home against UTSA on a Thursday. They're going to win that one, get to 4-5. At Navy, they lose 4-6. At UAB, they lose 4-7. They win at home against Rice. 5-7 for me for USF this year. And their conference wins here: Rice, UTSA, FAU, Charlotte. It's a 4-4 conference record. The UTSA Roadrunners, again, I mentioned they got gutted. 7-6 last year, 4-4 in conference, but they lost a ton. Edge rusher Jamori Robinson went to West Virginia. Linebacker Martavius French to UNLV. Corner Denver Harris to UNLV. Running backs Kevorian Barnes to TCU, Brandon Hyde Jr. to Cal, and Rocco Griffin to UMass. Big exodus of running backs there for the Roadrunners. They did get one running back back, though. Running back John Emery Jr. came in from LSU. Schedule sets up at Texas A&M. They lose that one week 1. At home against Texas State, I think they lose 0-2. They're going to win at home against UIW, Incarnate Word, 1-2. I think they will lose at Colorado State, 1-3. Going into the week 5 bye. At Temple, they win, I guess. No, I'm gonna have them lose 1-4. Home against Rice, they win 2-4. At North Texas, 2-5. Week 9 bye. Home against Tulane on a Thursday, they lose 2-6. At USF on a Thursday, 2-7. At Charlotte, I think they can win that one, 3-7. Home against East Carolina, I think I had them winning. So 4-7. Home against Army on Black Friday, they lose. So 4-8 for me, and it is a 3-5 division or conference record. Charlotte, the Miners, the 49ers, I should say. Out for them, wide receiver Omega Blake went to Arkansas. Quarterback Deshaun Purdy went to Wake Forest. Quarterback Max Brown went to West Virginia. Edge Damone Clowney went to Louisville. They got quarterback Connor Harrell from North Carolina, quarterback Grayson Loftus from Duke, running back Donald Chaney Jr. from Louisville, wide receiver Jaden McGowan from Boston College. So I really like all those guys that got in. Not that much worried about the transfers out other than Clowney. Big hit to the pass rush there. But see how Charlotte does in the schedule this year. Home against Appalachian State on a Friday. They lose. They lose at home against North Carolina. Week 2, they win at home against Monmouth, 1-2. At home against Rice on a Thursday. I'm going to have them win 2-2 going to the Week 5 bye. At USF on a Friday, they lose 2-3. They lose at Army 2-4. They win at home against Temple 3-4. They lose at home against North Texas on a Friday 3-5. Week 10 bye. At East Carolina, I think I had them winning. So 4-5 at home against UTSA. They win, or they lose actually. 4-6 at Georgia. Go Dogs. 4-7 at Tulane. 4-8. And that is 3-5 in conference. North Texas, the Mean Green, 6-7 last year, 3-5 in conference. Out wide receiver DT Sheffield went to Rutgers. Quarterback Chandler Morris went to Virginia. They did get quarterback Reese Poffenbarger in from Miami, the former Albany quarterback. Kind of like him, so we'll see how UNT does here. At home against Lamar, they win. They win at Western Michigan, 2-0. Home against Washington State, they lose 2-1. Lose at Army, 2-2. Home against South Alabama, I'm going to have them lose that one, 2-3. Week 6 bye. Home against USF on a Friday, they win 3-3. At home against UTSA, they win 4-3. At Charlotte on a Friday, they win 5-3. Home against Navy, they're going to lose that one, 5-4. Week 11 bye. At UAB, they win that one, 6-4. At Rice, I'm going to have them sneakily lose one, I think, somewhere there. So 6-5, and they win at home against Temple. So 7-5 for me for the Mean Green this year. And I had them going 2-2 in non-conference. So means 5-3 in conference there. Improvement for the Mean Green. Rice, the Owls, 4-8 last year, 3-5 in conference. They lost a ton, as far as I remember. Offensive tackle Ethan Onyanwa went to Ohio State. Quarterback E.J. Warner to Fresno State. Running back Dean Connors to Houston. They did get wide receiver Aaron Turner from Cincinnati, though. At Louisiana, week 1, they lose. They lose at home against Houston. Week 2, 0-2. They win at home against Prairie View at A&M, 1-2. They win at Charlotte. I think I had them on a Thursday, so 2-2. Lose at Navy, 2-3, home against FAU. I'm gonna have them lose 2-4. At UTSA, they win 3-4. Week 8 bye. They lose at home against UConn 3-5. Home against Memphis on a Friday. They lose 3-6. Home against UAB, they win 4-6. Week 12 bye. They lose at home against North Texas 4-7. They lose at USF 4-8 again for Rice, and I had them only going 1-3 in conference. So that is a 3-5 conference, or 1-3 in non-conference, 3-5 in conference there. The Temple, another owl. Temple Owls, 3-9 last year, 2-6 in conference. Temple running back Antoine Littleton, the second, went to Rhode Island. Linebacker Taekwon King went to UConn. They did get quarterback Giovanni McCoy from Texas State, running back Jay Ducker from Sam Houston State. Really like Jay Ducker. He should be integral part of this Owl offense this year. I'm going to have them win at UMass. Might be a tough one, but I'm going to have them win at UMass. Win at home against Howard. That's 2-0. Home against Oklahoma, they lose. They lose at Georgia Tech 2-2, going to week 5 bye. They lose at home against UTSA, home against Navy, at Charlotte, at Tulsa, home against East Carolina, at Army, home against, or week 12 bye, home against Tulane, at North Texas. Yeah, the one win that they could get in conference play, I think, is Tulsa. So I'm going to have them do that. So 3-9 again, and 1-7 conference record. UAB 3-9 for the Blazers last year, 2-6 in conference play. UAB lost interior offensive lineman Delano Townsend to Ole Miss. Quarterback Jacob Zeno went to Texas A&M. They got wide receiver Caleb Brown from Iowa. UAB starts off with Alabama State at home on a Thursday, week 1. They win that one. They lose at Navy, week 2, 1-1. They win at home against Akron, 2-1. They lose at Tennessee, 2-2. Week 5 bye. They lose at home against Army, 2-3. Lose at FAU, 2-4. Lose at home against Memphis, 2-5. Week 9 bye. At UConn, they lose 2-6. At Rice, they lose 2-7. They lose at home against North Texas. They lose at home against USF, and then they win at Tulsa 3-9 again for me for the UAB Blazers. And it is a 1-7 conference record because I had them going 2-2. FAU also went 3-9 last year. Another owl in this conference, full of owls. 1-7 in conference play, though. They lost safety C.J. Hurd to Vanderbilt, quarterback Cam Fanter to UCF, running back C.J. Campbell Jr. to Rutgers. They did get some guys, though. Interior offensive lineman Madden Sanker from Louisville, wide receiver Easton Messer from Western Kentucky. They got his quarterback Caden Veltkamp as well. Defensive lineman C.J. Doggett from Ohio, quarterback Zach Gibson from Georgia State. So quarterback play should be in better this year than it was with Fanter last year. So let's see what we got for FAU at Maryland. They lose 0-1. They win at FIU, though, I think, 1-1. Or they win at home against Florida A&M, I should say, 1-1. They win at FAU 2-1. Week 4 bye. They lose at home against Memphis 2-2. At Rice, they lose 2-3. Home against UAB, I think they win that one 3-3. At USF, 4-3. At Navy, they lose 4-4. Week 10 bye, they win at home against Tulsa 5-4. At Tulane, they lose 5-5. They lose at home with UConn 5-6, and they lose at home against East Carolina. So 5-7, and conference record is 3-5. So an improvement for the FAU Owls. Tulsa Golden Hurricanes 3-9 last year, 1-7 in conference play. Tulsa here, they just didn't lose a ton, and they got in running back A.J. Allen from FAU, former Miami Hurricane there. Week 1, home against Abilene Christian, they win. They lose at New Mexico State, 1-1. They lose at home against Navy, 1-2. Lose at Oklahoma State on a Friday, 1-3. They lose at home against Tulane, 1-4. Lose at Memphis, 1-5. Week 7 bye. At East Carolina, I think they lose 1-6. I had them winning against Temple, I think, 2-7 or 2-6, I should say. Week 10 bye at FAU, they lose 2-7. Home against Oregon State, they lose 2-8. At Army, 2-9. Had a home against UAB. I think I had them beating them, so 3-9. And it was a 1-3 non-con, so 2-6 in conference play for the Golden Hurricanes. So my AAC matchups look like this. It is the Army Black Knights returning to the AAC championship game, 9-3, 7-1 in conference. I have the Memphis Tigers facing them in the AAC title game by virtue of wins, a win against Tulane head-to-head. So I actually have Memphis 9-3, 7-1 in conference. In second place, Tulane is in third, 9-3, 7-1 as well. Navy is in fourth for me, 8-3, 6-2. I have, I believe it looks like North Texas is fifth, 7-5, 5-3. And then I have East Carolina, 6-6, 4-4. USF, I think, is next, 5-7, 4-4. And then I have FAU at 5-7, 3-5. Charlotte is my next one, 4-8, 3-5, I think. UTSA also 4-8, 3-5, as well as Rice. Rice also is at that 4-8, 3-5. And then at 3-9, 2-6, I have Tulsa. And then the last ones here, 3-9, 1-7 in conference play. I have UAB and Temple. USF at 4-8, 3-5 as well. So that's how I see the AAC. You'll see it in prettier picture whenever I get a graphic together. But yeah, AAC's top heavy for sure. And we'll see how the rest of that goes this season. But don't forget that's the show for today. Next week, we'll be talking preseason week 1, NFC West Big 12 season preview, our last division to go through for the NFL. And then we'll just be solely doing college football conference previews up until the season. But make sure you check us out on Friday. We'll be talking the NFC North and the ACC. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast, Instagram and X, FAA_bets on X as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. Check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and TikTok at FAA.podcast. And we'll see y'all back on Friday.